welcome to another edition of the Nintendo Dadcast. Got a little different color going on in the background back there. A little bit of red. I mean, it's supposed to be red, but it's mixing with the other lights. Got a cool little purple festive theme going back there. If you haven't been catching up on the streams, been playing Control, since like red is a big color in Control, I was like, I'll do the red because usually when I'm streaming, lights are off. It doesn't look too bad, but... And podcast, let's have the lights on so you can see my pretty face better. I mean, no one wants to see me during the stream. They want to see the game. But yeah. So if you haven't noticed from the title of this video, this is about what I would like to see from the Switch 2. We've gotten some confirmation on a couple things that we're getting from the Switch 2, which are on this list. But I was like, I want to see that. So I put on the list and I'll be like, oh, it's confirmed. Kind of thing like that. But a lot of people have done their own lists in the past, and it's something I've been meaning to do for a while now. Just other topics came up more pressing, kind of thing like that. So that's why I kind of went with those things. But now we're getting closer. So as we get closer to the release of, or I shouldn't say the release. We are getting, technically speaking, we are getting closer to the release of the Switch 2, which each day we move closer and closer. But what I meant to say there was getting closer to the announcement of the Switch 2, which I'm predicting will be in January. I'm going to say mid-January. Let's say the 12th. I don't even know. Let me see a calendar, because they usually do directs on Thursday, don't they? If I remember correctly. Let's see, calendar... January, let's say the 16th. We're going to say January 16th is when they're going to announce the Switch 2, which, by the way, if it does get announced on the January 16th, I'm marking that. I might cut this for a short, too, just so I just have the short thing like, hey, yeah, he called it. So anyways, on to the main event kind of thing. First and foremost, I think this is number one on everyone's Switch 2 wish list, and it has been confirmed. We are getting it, but backwards compatibility, which there is. When I heard that originally, the backwards compatibility, I was like, sweet. My Switch carts are going to just, boom, drop right into the new Switch, what have you. But then, like, I want to say it was like Spawn Wave gave me the doubt. Maybe it was Austin Evans gave me the doubt. I was like, well, they said software. They didn't necessarily say cartridges, so therefore they could just be your digital purchases. And I was like, don't put that doubt in my head. But I do still think, even with that doubt, I do think we are getting the carts. You can plug the carts in, much like, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry for that yawn. The carts, much like with the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy, and then the DS and the GBA. So I don't know if they'll be using the same style of carts. I would imagine they just might, to save money kind of thing. And also, if they're anything kind of like, if these carts have the same kind of memory capacity as, say, like an SD card, you could fit a whopping game on there without even worrying about it, and you just make the carts in different memory specs for the game. So I don't think they have to change the cart size at all, unless like they found a way to put more space on a smaller cart, because that way you can lose the game and have to buy again kind of thing. But yeah, so, and your digital purchases carrying over, which they did say the Nintendo Switch Online is going to continue from this generation to the next, which, thanks Nintendo for catching up to something Microsoft and Sony have been doing for like a decade plus now kind of thing. So, I mean, that's good. I don't have too many digital purchases on my Switch because as you can see, I'm a physical guy. So it would only be a handful of games, like a couple digital only games that I bought when the Switch first came out, so I had more to play. And then just like a couple games I've bought here and there because they were on sale, like dirt cheap. And then Mario Maker 2, because I wanted that at midnight kind of thing. So, yeah, so there we go. On to the next one. Backwards compatibility with the controller. So, I don't want to have to buy another Pro controller. I want to be able to use this. I want to be able to use, right here, my 8-bit Duo controller that I can use with... I'm hearing a rattle now. I wonder if that always had the rattle. It might have. I don't know. I mean, this is brand new. That rattle better be in every controller. But my 8-bit do. Here's my Switch right here. My little Famicom controllers. And if I buy, because I've been debating, kicking around buying the N64 controller. And then, of course, these came with the system. And then, I paid, $60, $70, whatever this was. Because I got this. I think I bought this with my Switch. I think, at the midnight release, I had them throw that on there. So I've spent a lot of money on controllers, and I would like to, be able to use those controllers so I can play more multiplayer games easily and things like that. Speaking of controllers, better thumbsticks. My original. Well, these could still be the original ones. I could, because I sent them off to Nintendo to get repaired. Nintendo does repair the stick drift for free. You just gotta fill out a form and send it into them. They'll look at it, it's like, oh yeah, you've got stick drift, and they send it back to you. And I believe it was my left one had the stick drift, and they fixed it for free, which was great. But I don't want to go through with that. Make better controls. I know the DualSense has experienced stick drift, because I think Lawrence Sontag, I think he talked about that, or he fixed his Sony DualSense controller. And so it doesn't just happen to Nintendo, it happens to other ones, but I think the rate of failure is higher on the Switch ones. And I've never had stick drift on any of my Xbox controllers. The original I want to say Xbox One, Xbox One still, but the original Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Series X, I've never had single stick drift on those, and I probably use those controllers more than any other system that I have. So Nintendo, learn from Microsoft and make better thumbsticks. So for the next system, so we don't have to worry about stick drift or anything like that. And this is kind of a minor gripe I have with the Switch, and it's not the biggest problem anymore now that I've got the Genki covert dock. So I have my Switch right here when I'm playing on the TV, but for the love of God, let me be able to turn the system on from the controller. Game systems have been allowing us to do this since the 360 PlayStation 3 era. So 2006, 5, somewhere around there. For 20 years now, we've been able to do that with every system. Well, no, we could do it from the Wii and the Wii U. So you just took it away for the Switch. I get it. It's a handheld / console, so it was probably something that was a pain in the ass. But you've had 8 years now to figure that shit out. Figure it out. I want to be able just to, boom, hit the on button for my controller, especially if it's a dock, because that is the most annoying thing in the world. To get up, especially because the button's on the top and it doesn't make a noise. So sometimes I don't even know if I've turned it on. And give me a beep when I turn the damn thing on when it's docked, because sometimes I'm just like, is it on? Is it working? I don't know. So yeah, give us that little thing, just let us turn it on from the controller when we've got it docked. So we just boop, we don't have to get up to turn it on, to turn it off, and all those things. So that would be fantastic. Next up on my list, and I'm sure this is on everyone's list because of they've been asking for it with the current Switch, but give us some GameCube games on the online expansion. And since you're doing GameCube, might as well do Wii. Same graphical engine, basically. In fact, I dare say GameCube games look better. I think technically the Wii has better processing and better graphics, but GameCube games always look better to me than Wii games. Wii games always kind of had this almost like throwback to the 64 with kind of a darker color scheme to the colors, where GameCube games, boom, popped and they were bright and everything like that. So if you're going to give us GameCube games on the online expansion, might as well do Wii games too. I would say do Wii U games, but I think just about all first-party Nintendo Wii U games have been re-released for the Switch. So there'd be no point in Nintendo doing that, because you can just buy it for the Switch, and that would cost them money if they did it that way. And while we're talking about online expansion, maybe throw some DS and 3DS games as well. We've got GB, GBC, GBA. Might as well get DS and 3DS on there as well. And I'm sure a lot of people are thinking oh, well, are they going to charge more for online? Probably, and they're probably going to do that with the new system anyway. So get used to the $50 for a year. It's probably going to go up once they have the new system, because that just happens. Like Xbox Live has gone up exponentially with each new generation. Same with PlayStation Plus. So maybe we'll get lucky and Nintendo will keep it at the same price. But I honestly doubt that. So just give us all these games. You're going to charge us more money for it. And now we're going to go into a couple of technical specs. Let's get 2K, 4K graphics going. It's possible in a handheld. The Lenovo Go, I don't know if it's in screen. Yeah, right there. The Legion Go, that's 2K. So it's a 2K screen. And I'm sure Nintendo can do that. Just at the very least 1080p. But if you can do like the 2K or 4K, that'd be great. I mean, honestly, if it's in handheld mode, I don't need it to be in 4K. Picture small and everything like that. But if we can get 2K handheld mode, 4K docked, that would be lovely, Nintendo. Just give us that, because that's what a lot of people want. Because it's kind of funny to me. A lot of people go, oh, well, it's Nintendo's in its own category because the graphics are lower than the PlayStation and 360. And that is just the biggest straw man argument I've ever heard. Is like, it's a video game console. A lot of people only buy one video game console. So if they buy a Nintendo Switch, guess what they're not buying? A PlayStation or an Xbox, and vice versa. So they are in competition. They might not get the same third-party support as the other makers do. But again, if a household only buys one system and they buy a Switch, well, guess what? That stopped them from buying the other two consoles. And given that the Nintendo Switch is approaching 150 million lifetime sales, I'm pretty sure it has cannibalized a lot from Xbox and Sony. So they do compete. But yeah, if we get 2K, 4K graphics on this system, then I think that we should be getting a lot more third-party support, which would be on this list. But this is what I'm asking from Nintendo. Whether or not third-party supports Nintendo's not technically up to Nintendo. It's up to the third party whether they want to support them or not. But if you have the 2K, 4K graphics, I think you'll get a lot of companies moving their stuff over the Switch 2, or at least converting the stuff to the Switch 2. Because when you honestly think about it, the Switch 2 is... Because the Switch did not sell based on a similar gimmick like the Wii, where a lot of people just bought it for Wii Sports, and it was a Wii Sports machine, kind of thing like that. People buy the Switch to play the games. And so if the Switch 2 sells half as well as the current Switch, then it's going to kick the shit out of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So therefore, if you're a third-party manufacturer, you're going to want your games on the Switch too, because you want your games coming out on the most popular system, because that's what the most people have, and they're going to want that. And while we're talking about specs and everything like that, 60 frames per second, we can do that. It'd be great if you could do better, because again, my Legion Go, when I have it plugged in and playing, I want to say I can get some games up to 120 frames a second. So again, it can be done in a handheld. So Nintendo's just got to do it. And I really hope I would prefer to pay a more premium price for the Switch 2 for it to have higher frames per second, higher refresh rate on the screen, 2K, 4K graphics, handheld, and TV mode. So I almost put LED screen on here, but the Legion Go, I know I'm doing a lot of comparisons to the Legion Go. Sorry, I just got it. It's a new toy. But it's also a handheld game machine. It does not have an LED screen, but that screen is phenomenal. So I don't, and honestly, I've played on an OLED Switch, but I still have my launch Switch. I don't need, the OLED looks great. I don't need it though. If I've got a really crisp, like 2K experience like the Legion Go does, it doesn't need to be OLED. So OLED's nice, but that's where I'll allow Nintendo to cut corners or cut price. It's like, let's not go for the OLED. Let's go for a little bit less, but still be a nice screen. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But yeah, 60 frames per second. If we can get it clocked at 60 frames per second, that'd be so great. I would love you so much, Nintendo, if you could do that. And lastly, last thing on my list, it's not a very long video because this is just kind of like small things I want for it. This is going to come out of left field. I do think it's a possibility, though. I do think it's something that certain companies are working behind the scenes to get done and things like that. And I would honestly not be surprised if we got Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch. And it would be great if it's part of Game Pass Ultimate, which those of us who have an Xbox and a PC, you get Xbox and PC combined with Ultimate. So if Ultimate then included Game Pass on the Switch, that'd be fantastic. Like, how great would that be? Like, you could play like Nuts and Bolts and Halo and things on your Switch. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility with Microsoft's new, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. Shoot, who knows? Like, they might even put Game Pass on the current Switch. I mean, anything's possible right now with Xbox. I mean, they've just kind of gone crazy with what they're doing. They've realized it's going to probably take a miracle for them to get out of third place. And it's not happening in this console generation, obviously. So, I mean, them putting Game Pass on Fire Stick and everything else, if they decide to put, I really don't see Game Pass coming to the PlayStation. I really don't. But to put it on the Switch, that'd be pretty awesome. And like I said, if it was part of Game Pass Ultimate, even better. And in fact, I was going to say if I was Microsoft, I would have it as a part of the Ultimate plan. Like, don't offer a separate Switch plan. But much like they offer Ultimate includes PC, like maybe do like a little less expensive Switch plan. And that way, if you're just a Switch owner, you pay, what is I think the PC is like $10, $12 a month. I don't know. I have Ultimate, so I can't tell you for sure what the PC is, but I think it's about like $12, something like that. I know it's less money than Ultimate, and so you probably wouldn't get all the games because I do know my Legion Go that's got with Xbox Ultimate, I don't get the same games as I do for consoles. So like console gets certain ones. So were you doing console PC when Xbox could do the difference? I would say do like Xbox, console, PC, and then Switch, because obviously, especially if the Switch 2 is underpowered compared to the Series X, which I don't think it will be. There's no way it can be, right? Then obviously something like Halo Infinite or Stalker 2, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, that's not going to run on the Switch if it's not at least up to the specs of the Series S. So obviously then we would have like Game Pass console, Game Pass Xbox, Game Pass PC, Game Pass Switch. And so if you got Ultimate, it includes all three, which would be great. But then you also have your PC Game Pass, and then you could have your Switch Game Pass. And I think that would benefit both Microsoft and Nintendo, because then as a Nintendo owner, you've got games. Day one, you have games. It's like, boom. Because odds are there's going to be a launch title. My guess is going to be a Mario title. Since we haven't had a sequel to Odyssey and we've had 2 Zelda games come out for the Switch, I would say I'm willing to bet good money that we're getting Pokemon and Mario at launch for the Switch 2. And then, that's all Nintendo needs. I'm sure there'll be third party, but that's all Nintendo needs to do. And then, boom, if you're Microsoft and you put Game Pass on the Switch 2, I mean, I think you're going to have a quick and fast install base. I think a lot of people are going to sign up for that. Like, depending on the price, like if it was not included in Ultimate, depending on what they charge for it, I'd be very tempted to get it. And I don't know what kind of deals Microsoft would have to work for that. As far as working with Nintendo, like if they just like, yeah, Nintendo, we're just going to charge a fee. Here's an app, and however like apps work on systems, I don't really know like if they make any money or if it's just a launcher. But yeah, we'll work out a deal, put this on your system, Game Pass, boom, games on there. I honestly don't see Nintendo letting Microsoft put Nintendo games on the Xbox, but maybe they put some of their older games on Game Pass that aren't on the Switch online expansion, like maybe some older Switch games from like the first couple of years, something like that. And also that'd be great if, other third parties who have Switch exclusive games, which I don't know if there's too many of those or not. because I do know like just a lot of the games I'm thinking of off the top of my head do have Xbox and PlayStation ports. But yeah, you could put games like that on there as well. So I just think that makes a ton of business sense for both Microsoft and Nintendo to put Game Pass on the Switch too. Again, out of left field, but we're coming back to this video. Just like if I called January 16th being the announcement for the Switch 2, we're coming back to this video, and I'm just throwing up a bunch of told you so's if Game Pass ends up on the Switch, which with this current Xbox, this is an Xbox. It's not out of the realm of possibilities because I don't think Microsoft I don't think Microsoft and Nintendo view each other the way Microsoft and Sony view each other and the way Nintendo and Sony view each other. And they have worked together in the past with GoldenEye and the Banjo-Kazooie games from Rare. And I don't even know if is Donkey Kong 64 on the expansion. We do have Rare Nintendo titles on, Nintendo Switch Online. So they've proven they can work together. Just like, well, even before like that, like Ori and Cuphead both came to the Switch. Long before Microsoft was really actually putting their stuff on other systems, those were coming over to the Switch as well. So they do have a good working relationship together, and I think it's within the realm of possibilities. Like I don't think it's that far out there. Like I'm sure a lot of people are like, no, that's not going to happen. I really think it could, and that would be awesome. And I think that would be a great thing for the Switch too, especially if it's day one. If it launches with the system, honestly, I think it benefits Nintendo because I think if you have something like Game Pass, so if the Switch 2 has backwards compatibility, which we know it does, your digital stuff will carry over, which we know it does. If you put Game Pass on the Switch day and date one, I think you sell a lot more Switches because then you got people who have Game Pass. They're gonna buy a Switch and they can play their Microsoft games on there, and it'll be fantastic. And I think that benefits Microsoft because if Game Pass, like if Xbox games come day one to Xbox Unlimited on the Switch, I'm probably not buying another Xbox. So that might not be the most beneficial for Xbox, but it is what it is, kind of thing like that. But I think, like, if you just thought about it, if Game Pass was on the Switch right now, they've got nearly 150 million Switches out in the wild. Now, granted, some people probably have 2 or 3. Like, I'm sure someone bought a launch, then they bought an OLED, and they might just have one of the special edition Slims or whatever their non-docking one is called. So, yeah, it's not 150 million people out there, but I guarantee you not a lot of people own multiple ones. So, a rough estimate, probably 130 million different people own a Switch. And so if you put Game Pass on that, I'm willing to bet good money at least a third of those people are signing up for it. So you're looking at 50 million new subscribers right there, if they don't already have an Xbox. But it could probably go close to 100 million new subscribers for the Xbox, somewhere around there, depending on, the crossover of people like me who have all 3 consoles versus people who just have a Switch. Those are just new customers for you right there. And I think something like Game Pass on a Switch 2 would push some people who might wait for more software to come out. Like, well, I can play Halo on my Switch. I can do this on my Switch. So I just think that would be beneficial for both companies. But that's what I think about that. I mean, that's kind of my wish list for the Switch 2. Backwards compatibility with your digital purchase and your software, which we know we're getting. Back compatibility with the controllers, which I think we're getting. Better thumbsticks, which hopefully we're getting. The ability to turn the system on with the controller when it's docked. Please give that to us. I have no idea if we're getting that at all. GameCube and Wii, DS, 3DS, for Nintendo Switch Online, whether it's the expansion or regular, depending on what they want to do with that. That'd be great. 2K, 4K gaming, please. At least 60 frames a second. It'd be great if it did more. And then my long shot, my Hail Mary, Game Pass. Give us Game Pass on there. That'd be so great. Like I said, if it was not too expensive as a separate charge, I would do it. I would hope it would fall under the umbrella of Ultimate. We'll see. Kind of thing like that. But there you go. There is my wish list for the Nintendo Switch 2. I almost said GameCube. The Nintendo Switch 2. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with this list? What would you add to the list? Like, tell me what you would add. What are you hoping the Switch 2 has? And when I say what are you hoping it has, something like actually feasible and reasonable. Like, you can throw a Hail Mary out there like I did with Game Pass, though I don't think Game Pass is that unreasonable thing to come to the Switch 2, but like, what are some actual things you hope the Switch 2 has? 4K gaming, 60, 120 frames per second. Though 120 frames might be pushing it a little bit, but 60 frames shouldn't be hard to achieve. One thing I forgot: better battery life. Let's get a 3-hour battery in there for some long gaming sessions, kind of thing like that. That'd be great. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with fellow Nintendo nerds out there. I'd be like, hey, the Nintendo out there speaking the true with the Nintendo Switch 2. So there you have it. That's my wish list. Let me know what yours is below. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Take care now. Bye.